Stand by. Rolling.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. So the title we'll be interviewing today is Edwin. Edwin, thank you for joining us.
Oh, awesome, thank you. It's an honor.
Great stuff, right? Edwin's always very busy, so it's actually great that we actually could catch him for a few minutes to actually join us today. Okay, so Edwin, let's jump in, right?
Yes.
So on the chapter of accepting, what did you have to accept to start the Green Child project?
I think the biggest thing was risk within and risk wider than myself. Simply because there was risk to the people I would eventually employ, there was risk to myself who I would start employing, and there was risk for people who would eventually touch with the program. So for me, the biggest thing was risk, and not risk in a bad way, but risk in the best possible way. And if this doesn't work, it's okay. If it does work, it's also okay.
Cool. So you had to accept the risk before starting?
Before starting, yeah.
Okay.
And that is the risk, like I said, the risk of it not working and the risk of the impact it will have once it does work. Because then with that risk comes accountability for, am I willing to accept that I'll be accountable for everything that happens here, whether it's good or bad, how we want to impact people, whether we will impact people, and whether that impact is sustainable as well.
Of course. Okay, so there's a lot of thinking going into it, which actually brings us to our next chapter, is the visualization bit.
Yeah.
So what did you see it like in your head to get to this point? What did it look like?
I think the one thing that I could always imagine, and even if I couldn't, if it wasn't tangible yet, if it wasn't articulated yet, the one thing I could absolutely see was light.
Okay.
Light. It's the one thing, even now it guides me, is whatever happens, as long as you can hold on to light. Visualize light in whichever way that is. Light in a program that we run to people who have lost hope.
Yeah.
Light in offering employment to youth, offering employment to disabled people. Light in, if everything goes wrong for someone at home that works here, if they come to work, there needs to be a light.
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest thing I could visualize, even beyond what Green Child would eventually become, was light. Because essentially, the first role I occupied within Green Child project was that of a coach.
Okay.
And as a coach, that is one of the biggest things that you become to your clients, is light. For themselves to step into and themselves to walk through. So not light as this beacon of shining light, but just light for them in that moment when they're in the darkness, when they're confused, just to step in, find themselves, and then proceed.
Hope.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So,
Cool. Which brings us to our third chapter, declare. So obviously when you started, you had to tell someone. So how did that go?
that was a difficult one because I don't speak a lot. I tend to choose what I say to who I say it very carefully, and I choose my words very carefully. So the first declaration I had to make was to my wife.
Of course.
And it wasn't the most comfortable circumstances. Obviously, she was in the hospital with my son, and the first thing I had to declare was, we are both unemployed from the end of this month. And then, with that, I'll become my own light and I will start Green Child Project.
Okay.
The second declaration I made was to my family. I took them all to my bin and just slipped it in there. Oh, yes. So it was, I think once I said it out loud, I again went back to accepting that, you know what, this is it now. You've said it, so now it needs to manifest. So,
Of course. I think speaking it into power counts for a lot.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is once you delay on that, it becomes a bit of a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Because you think it, you visualize it, but you declare it's there. It's got power, it's a thing. It's got life, it's got
Put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly, so yeah.
Fantastic. Last chapter is, it's nice that it's broken up into stages that you actually got to the final part, which is probably the most difficult part, the doing part.
The doing.
Right? So just give us briefly the stages or the steps you had to go through, because now I already told everybody, you already know what it looks like in your head. So how did that go?
I think the doing part was the most difficult from a rationalization point of view, because you're doing something so irrational. I mean, if you look at the unemployment rate, the rational thing for me would be to go back to what I knew, because there were a lot of corporates interested in taking me on, and doing something very irrational then for myself was actually going to register the business firstly, obviously, then finding an office space to say, this is it, this is where I'm going to be seated for the next, don't know how long.
Yeah.
And they were clear, they were distinct stages. So the first one, I always refer to it as the crawling stage. Because you're not crawling because you're begging, you're crawling because you don't want to be seen.
Okay.
You like hiding type of thing, you know. I'm here, but I don't want everyone to know that I'm here type of thing. And after that, once you become comfortable with what you've accepted, what you visualized, and you're doing it, there's a very, very, very distinct stage when reality hits you and you're like, do I know what I'm doing? You've started the business and you've got clients and you think to yourself, you know what, my clients expect me to know exactly what I'm doing. But half of the time, I have absolutely no clue. But you commit, and you figure your way out. And I think where we're at now at the moment is in that stage, but much bigger.
Okay.
Where, because we're impacting the lives of people every single day, you're in contact with people who've lost hope every single day. Even in those times when you don't know what you're doing. You sit there and you think to yourself, I don't know how I'm going to help. I don't know how we're going to roll this out. You kind of just need to go back to, I love your stages, to accepting that. Accepted it. So whether it works or not, repeat that to yourself.
Boom.
Repeat it. Whether it works or not, it's fine.
Convince yourself.
Convince yourself, and your client will follow.
There we go.
The employees, they'll follow. They will follow you to the ends of the earth. Even if they know you don't know what you're doing. But if you believe in what you're doing, you can't fail. So
here we go. That's great. Tell me. So the phases have worked in your professional career, right?
Yes.
Do you think you could apply that to other parts of your life as well?
Absolutely. And the biggest part for me, it's a project that I'm working on the side that I want to integrate into my work.
Don't divulge too much.
It's but it's on my life. My biggest journey was that of a dad. So I've got 3 kids, and I always have the saying when I speak to anyone is, even if I'm nothing to the world, I want to be everything to my kids.
There we go.
That's it. I don't care if I'm a failure in business, if I'm a failure at any. I never ever want to be a failure as a father. So for me using the accept, visualize, declare, and do, that's what I live every day, every single day with my kids, and also in my marriage, because as someone who's inclined to be a good dad, there's obviously conflict then with your wife, because your number one role is actually as a husband. So it's pivoting those things and just making the absolute best of the spaghetti you've got. I always say, people want a waffle in their life. Everything perfect squares, and I say, work with the spaghetti, man.
Here we go.
It's gonna cross. It's gonna look yucky. You can't eat it in front of a new girlfriend. Just work with it. Just work with it. Spaghetti is the way to go.
New dad, kids, marriage, totally relatable. Edwin, thank you so much. There are so much nuggets and gems we can actually take from this, and that we can share. So thank you for joining us today, Edwin, and all the best, and we'll keep having these conversations.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Great.